Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brothers Take podcast, the podcast where nerdy brothers get together each and every week to talk games. And in this week, we're going to be doing just that. My name is Kris. I'm joined by my brother Eric.
Hello.
And as I said, we are back in the room to talk games this week with Eric giving us his first impressions of Death Stranding 2 as our follow up to last week's episode. But our main topic this week is actually going to be talking about Squid Game and the games they play there. Horrible, horrible, deadly games. The three seasons are out, are finished. Season three came out about like a week ago at time of recording. So we've caught up on the whole show, and that portion of the conversation will include spoilers. So just spoiler warning, we're not going to be doing like a deep dive spoiler cast into each and every episode because there's three seasons worth of content. What we'll do instead is let's talk about season one, let's talk about season two, let's talk about season three, and in much broader strokes, our thoughts on the show as a whole. But in doing that, we will be talking spoilers of certain moments and key moments and things that happen in there that stood out to us, and we would love to hear from you guys too. If you're here just for the Death Stranding stuff, it will be timestamped. If you're here just for the Squid Game stuff, it will be timestamped. And if you're someone who's like, well, I've been watching the show for the last couple of years and I just want to hear people's thoughts on the ending of the show, then you can jump straight to the season three part if you want. It'll all be timestamped, and we want you to jump in on the conversation as well and share your thoughts. If you watch this YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this episode, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell for all future content. And to those who listen to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take. Again, to give your take on Death Stranding 2 so far and on Squid Game. But without further ado, let's talk about it. So I think we said we'd start with your first impressions of Death Stranding 2, Eric, as a follow-on, natural follow-on from last week's episode, which was, of course, you recapped Death Stranding 1 to get everyone prepared for Death Stranding 2. You've been playing Death Stranding 2.
I have.
I imagine you probably haven't finished it because I hear it's quite a long game, actually.
Yeah, I'm only on. I don't know how many chapters there are. Well, he refers to as episodes, so I'm on episode 7 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I get very distracted by trying to build the roads and the monorails just for easy transportation
Sure.
as you're going through it. But that's just kind of a very me thing. Because I don't know if anyone else builds the roads. To be honest, because your worlds are kind of somewhat shared.
Yes. Yeah.
Same with the first one as well. Like, once you're still connecting the chiral network as you did in the first one. You've now connected the chiral network into Mexico, and then you go to Australia, and then you're connected across there. So once that's done, obviously whatever people made, their watchtowers and generators and whatnot, they're all there. But on an impressions base, graphically, holy fuck, environmentally, like this is nuts. I think when the game first opens up, I was like, is that those the graphics? Like, holy fuck, that looks real. It was real, but it was actually real.
No.
It opens a real. It opens a real footage, and you can
They
tell
duped
because
me.
they duped me. You can tell because they do CGI in some of the chiral creatures and some of the very Death Stranding structures and stuff like that into the real terrain. So you can kind of go, okay, no, that's real, that's CGI. And it starts with a new song by Woodkid, and it's great. I love the song. And then it seamlessly goes into the graphics. But again, the graphics are so good. Like, the environmental graphics are so good that you're just like, it works so well. And then you're just pushed into this moment as Sam is walking across the Mexican like ridges, and the graphics are amazing. The song is hyping up and everything like that, and it's quite a good immersive opening. It's not a big spectacle opening, but it's a very immersive opening. So graphically very good. There are people who are saying that the songs are better in this one because in the first one, when you would walk around, every so often a song would come on to like play into the emotion of the moment and everything like that. I actually so far prefer the songs in the first one.
Okay.
I'm not really digging the songs that much in this one, but it's still nice to have them on. But I do love that if you're just kind of doing random shit on the maps,
Mm.
you have a music player now, so you can
Oh,
play
cool.
with,
Yeah, yeah.
and you can create a playlist, so you can have whatever songs you want playing. Because that was not in the first one.
That's kind of MGS4y, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice to kind of go around your listen to songs and everything that as you're kind of going across the outback. You know what I mean? The Australian outback. I fucking love when you go to Australia and everyone starts speaking Australian accents. It's great. I fucking love the Australian accent. Story wise, quite intriguing. There's a
Okay.
bit of a mystery here where you're like, oh, okay, what's going on here now? And yeah, so that's kind of a bit of a push. But I get so distracted by doing all the other shit. I kind of go, what's my objective again?
Right, right. Okay,
That's
okay.
that's a me issue though. Character animation wise and a detailed of faces is very good. Like if you leave Sam out in the sun for too long, he'll start to get like sunburnt and you can start to see the sweat and everything. That is the Decima engine because I think Horizon
It's amazing.
Forbidden West was doing the same. Yeah, yeah. The Decima engine is fucking class,
Yeah.
and this game is really showing it off to its full potential. Like there's like when you're not limited by having to release it on the previous console, this is what you can achieve with the Decima engine.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Decima's engine was always impressive. Even
Always, yeah, yeah. But it's like
with
now
it,
this and Unreal Engine 5 are just like
it's
top
just
tier, like.
that and whatever the fuck Rockstar's engine is.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
yeah.
those are the three engines that are just like whoa, like
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
calm down, give everyone else a chance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ori Engine, you're good too, but you're not quite to this
Yeah,
level.
you need to improve your hair, I think.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
face. It's
yeah.
kind of sometimes the face is a bit kind of,
Yeah, yeah,
especially seven.
yeah. Your lighting
Resi
is good. Your lighting is good, Ori Engine.
lighting's very good.
Lighting is very good.
Their
Yeah.
floors are
Your
top
floors
notch.
are top down.
No, their floors are top notch, man.
Reviewing the floors of the Ori Engine.
That's Chris's like because there's no puddles in RE games, so Chris just
Mm,
stops and looks at floors. She's
I
like,
do,
wow,
yeah,
look
yeah. And
at
I go,
those floors.
look at that floor, yeah, yeah. In fact, this episode is now going to be. It's like, what's your favorite floor in a game? You know? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Probably Resi 2.
He's like, I actually do have an answer to
I
that.
know because we're talking about it. I do remember being like, I know we're off topic now, but I do remember being like, wow, look at that floor. That's pretty
Yeah,
like
that is
walking in the hallway.
very impressive.
But yeah, this game, you would probably stop and look at every rock.
Yeah,
I don't think you like it will take you years to complete this game.
I don't
You
think I.
personally, not
Yeah,
not everyone else. Everyone
yeah,
else
yeah.
would be fine.
Everyone else
You
will be. Everyone
personally,
else will just play it and enjoy it as it's intended.
yeah.
But I'll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every stone, every rock, everything you will stop
Yes.
and just look at. So story wise, good. Characters' names don't necessarily get better,
No.
but I love Doll Man. Do you remember the doll
Yes, from
that
the trailer,
saw?
I'm very intrigued by this character.
He's great.
Okay.
He's very good. He
I
acts.
assume he functions similarly to Mimir from God of War in that he accompanies you. That's
He
my
does accompany
assumption.
you, and you can throw him, and he can like scan the area for you,
Oh, fantastic.
and then he
Okay.
comes back to you. But you mainly talk to him in your private room on the DHV Magellan, which is the big Metal Gear Rex headed submersible
Okay.
machine.
Yeah.
And he acts as almost like a therapist and he's a very supportive character, not as a like you have support characters, but his function is to
Yes,
actually
to be
be
supportive.
supportive
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
you. Yeah, he does act on
Cool.
it as a bit of a therapeutic point and kind of a he wishes to help some of the other characters that you meet and everything like that. But he's very interesting. I like Rainy. She's played by you know what? I'm not even going to Shuji. I know is her first name. I will not try to pronounce her second name, but she's a very interesting character, and she has a point where her backstory is revealed, and there's this beautiful piece of music that goes with her backstory. It has a very intriguing, awesome backstory as well. So I
Yeah.
really like her character. And she has some interesting shit that adds to the lore of the world. The world is very much there are points in this game with the world as there was. I think you were asking me questions about like the first one, like void outs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah.
does void outs happen? I just maybe
I
it's
guess suppose
explained.
it just does.
Yeah, it's a little. You know what? I was thinking about it before we came on, and I was a bit like, you know what? It's one of those things where there's stuff that's happened in this game, and they mention things and everything. And you might as well just treat it like Skyrim, you know?
Yeah, like it's a fantasy. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
like
our world.
how does the Dragonborn absorb the souls? He just does. You just have to accept it. Like,
Yes, yeah,
there's a
yeah.
void out because that's the way it goes. But speaking of void outs, they'll actually happen. I
Okay.
got killed by a BT as I was
Okay.
playing because
Yes,
I
yeah.
got caught in a very tight corridor and they caught up with me. They're all around me and stuff, and I died and I revived myself. But the crater was there.
Deadly. That's cool.
The crater is now permanently there. I will see it on the map now. So anytime I die, a
Every time
crater,
you die, you will create a crater.
I will create a crater
That's
every
kind of
time.
cool,
And I
yeah.
was like, that's really good,
It's
like
really interesting, actually.
expansiveness, and it's so quick for
Hmm.
loading because you can fast travel with the Magellan, which
Oh, cool,
also
yeah,
just
yeah.
makes for because in the first one, when you fast travel, you go to your private room, you access Fragile, and she transports you, but all your equipment is left behind, or all your stuff on your backpack and everything was left behind.
Yes, yeah,
But this time, you just go into the Magellan,
yeah.
fast travel to a new place, and everything you have just stays with you, which just creates a way more like
Streamlined experience, I suppose, when you're trying to get to,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you, streamlined
What? How
experience.
is the combat this time around?
I was just about to get to that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, combat is like it's actually I don't know what it is. It's because it's not that much different,
Yes.
and yet feels so much better and so much more fluid. So whatever they did, just the quality of life of combat, it's just so much more greatly improved.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm because first of all, you can take your backpack off, so you're not weighed down that much. You can kind of just go around all sneaky style, which is pretty handy. There's something about aiming your gun and everything is a bit better, punching and whatnot. That's pretty good. Being able to tag the enemies so you know where they are all the time, it's pretty handy. But I also got like an upgrade for my truck where I have a gun. So I just like at one point drove into an enemy base and the gun would just automatically shoot everybody.
Wow.
So I was just like fucking going in
Would
there. It
that
also
cause void outs everywhere then?
no, because they get knocked out.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you're tranquilizing enemies and stuff as opposed
Yeah,
to
you shoot them with rubber bullets and all that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they don't die. It also I upgraded the truck to have an automatic hook machine, hook gun.
Mm-hmm.
So when I drive by parcels, it would just boop and put them in. So I don't have to get it. So again, all there's so much more quality of life to just the combat,
Yes.
exploration, like building things and everything like that. I think you get more things that are handy for carrying stuff. Fast travel is done so much better. The having the characters, it, one thing where I'm like, I wish I could actually walk around the Magellan.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can't?
No, it's just you go to your private room. Cutscenes, you go to the bridge where you have like Tarman and Fragile in them.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's just your private room, shower, which is like done as a cutscene. You go to the shower
Yeah.
and back again, and then you just surface, like just the
Okay, okay.
yeah. So you can't actually explore the Magellan, which I'm a little bit like, ah, that's a pity. I
You're like,
kind of
I'd love that Mass Effect 2 Normandy style thing where you go
yeah.
around and you could talk to all your supporting cast. Yeah.
You could, because as the game's progressing, you get more characters onto the Magellan. So I was like, it'd be nice to go to their rooms and talk to them and stuff like that.
Yes.
But you can, of course, Dollman stays in your room, so you get to talk to him the whole time.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So story wise, I don't really fully know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the objective is. I know what we're doing. We're connecting all of Australia to the chiral network, just for freedom of information and all that, and make everyone be connected again. But what Higgs wants, I don't know. He has shown up.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool entrance, followed by a boss fight, which was a very cool Metal Gear Solid boss fight, I will admit. He's got
Nice.
some like weird cult thing going on, which is cool. Um, the BTs so far aren't that much of an issue.
Okay.
I actually don't meet them that much, to be honest. But there is flash floodings that happen and earthquakes.
Oh, cool. This is a new feature.
New features, yeah. So sometimes the ground kind of shakes, you know what I mean? And you're kind of like, but like the flash flooding I've really seen take into effect where rivers are rising and rushing down and stuff, and you have to try to find new ways to get past them and everything like
Deadly. That's
that.
cool.
graphically very good, combat very good. The enemies are seem to be, as I'm going across Australia, the enemies seem to be getting new equipment. So now I have to tackle them in different ways as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, and some of the songs are good, but I'm not totally blown away with them. But I
Mm.
like that I can play them when I want to
So, what
keep
would
going.
be like your overall impressions of the game so far? Like,
Um,
is it, does it feel, obviously there's still more to come, and the back
mm,
half of the game might, you know, either bring you up more or bring you down more, but like, is it feeling like, yeah, more of the same with just a few new things? Or is it like, oh no, it's like a huge improvement? Or like, how's it feeling in
huge,
comparison to Death Stranding 1 so far for you?
huge improvement to Death Stranding 1 for sure. I'm still actually not totally blown away by some of the performances.
Okay.
I've heard the performances like, oh, they're amazing, spectacular, and I'm like, I'm not, I'm not totally coming from Expedition 33 to this. And specifically two of the characters, I kind of think their performances aren't really, which actually it's Norman Reedus and Leah Sado. I'm not really overly blown away by their performances. I think everyone else
Hmm.
is fine, but their performances are there's like an emotional moment as well at this at a point, and it wasn't really. I didn't feel it.
Didn't hit you.
Didn't hit me at all. No, no. But overall, like it's a massive improvement upon the game. So far, it is more of the same. So I'm taking it quite easy with it, but I'd imagine the later half of the game is going to ramp up.
Right, okay.
I'd imagine it's going to ramp up, and of course, it'll probably be the last 6 hours of the game is when the plot starts. I'd
Of
imagine,
course, yeah, and then and then you'll
yeah.
be like, oh, there's so much to talk about, but it's only in the last.
It's only in the last like 6 hours of the game. But so at the moment it's more of the same, but just improvements upon it. It's quite a nice leisurely game to put on, so I'm not itching to jump back onto it at every point to play it.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
But when I
yeah.
am playing it, I'm like,
This is
ah,
nice.
sure, I might as well just deliver that. Oh, I got a new package. Sure,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might as well deliver it. And then before I know it, I've played like 8 hours of the game, and I'm like, oh wow, this flew by. So it
That's
is
good.
very,
That's good.
it is,
Yeah.
yeah, it is very nice to play. Love listening to the Australian accents. It's hilarious. Um, yeah, but BT, yeah. So far the BTS are making, not doing anything, which is really weird. But there's new
Okay.
chiral creatures, which are interesting. Some of them look like weird octopus spiders. They're
Oh
kind of
yes,
creepy.
yeah, yeah.
But you can kind of walk past them, they don't do anything. But there's weird birds. You can see them, this weird flock of birds. Go, they're bastards. The first time I met them, I was like, oh, what the hell are they? And then they just fucking swarmed me. I was like, ah, fuck it. I was trying to run away. I was like, fuck off.
Can you fight them or
I don't know. I tried.
right, right? Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, so yeah, I suppose that for now that would be your first impressions of Death Stranding 2. Um, would love to hear from other people who are playing it. How are you finding it so far? Is it an improvement on Death Stranding 1 for you? Is it much more of the same? If you've finished it, please don't spoil it on us, but just let us know what you think of Death Stranding 2's story as a whole. And maybe when you get to the end of it, you're just like, nah, this is fucking game of the year. This is fucking unreal. Do let us know how you feel about your next delivery adventure. But speaking of delivering, did Squid Game deliver in its finale? That's what we're going to be talking about as we talk about the entirety of Squid Game, the 3 seasons that are out on Netflix now. We have talked about Squid Game briefly before, but we've never ever done like an actual episode on it or talked about it. It's obviously a huge worldwide phenomenon on Netflix, one of the biggest shows in the world. I mentioned it earlier this year as one of my favorite shows when we did our top five TV shows, mainly for the strength of that first season, which
Hmm.
just to jump straight into it, I suppose, I still think is the strongest season of the show. And honestly, I think the show would be just as loved if it remained as that one season. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy season 2 and 3. But I don't think they're as strong. And actually, in my opinion, I think each season goes down. I think that's how I would probably rank them personally. But there's powerful moments in all three, and
Hmm.
we're going to be talking about those. Eric, I suppose I've been watching Squid Game as it came out. you
Yeah.
literally have binge watched it all, I think,
Mm.
this week.
Yeah, in like 4 days.
So,
I
what was
I
that like for you?
it was a fucking workout. I sweated with stress so much. I'm pretty sure I lost weight.
Did you
Uh,
want to binge watch it all? Like, did you decide I'm gonna watch it all? Like, did you set out to do that, or is it just I'll finally throw on Squid Game, and then was it
I
just okay? I'm gonna keep going.
I think it was more of a case. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a moment away from Death Stranding to break
Okay,
up the repetitiveness of the way I was playing. Not that the game was repetitive, but
sure.
I was being too repetitive with the game. I was like, I'm going to give myself a break. Oh, look, Squid Game season 3 is out. Okay, well, sure, I'll throw that on. So I didn't necessarily go in with the mindset that I'm going to binge this, but the first season just it really does hook you the whole way
Yeah,
through. And it just kind of you just kind of go okay, and then by the time you're at the end of it, like well, there's season two. I might as well keep going. I found season two kind of was hooking me, and yeah, I was like by the time I got season three, it's like I have to finish it now.
yeah. I might as
So
well. It's right there.
yeah. So
It
that's
is binge worthy television. It is like they do a
mm,
really good job of ending an episode on a thing that's like, oh, I need to see what happens next, and then like
yeah,
there's the little bar going, and it's like next episode, and you're like, well, okay. I mean, and then like because I find that they almost end the episodes with the start of the next episode, and then they just stop. Like
mm,
it'll be like they start a game, they kind of give you the premise of the game, and then they stop it, and then you're like, well, I need to see what happens in this game. God, Jesus, I
yeah.
got to keep going. What did you think of the show overall then? Before we look at each
Uh,
season?
like fucking the quality of the sets are very good.
Yes.
Sets are very good. The acting is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So well. For all the Korean actors, the
Yeah.
acting is phenomenal.
Yeah. And we will talk about that element. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're so incredible. So they're such characters. They're so like they're such individual people,
Hmm.
and like the writing of the people is probably the biggest strength for it because the idea isn't new.
No, no, no.
It's battle royale. It's
Uh,
Hunger Games. It's
yeah. There was like, I mean, like, I know people as well who were like, they don't want to watch it because they're like, this sounds so unoriginal. It's like, no, but if you watch it, the way in which it's done is very original. But
mm,
yes, the concept just on paper is not the
but
most original thing
and
ever.
it's the people that just keep you going and they
Mm,
keep you hooked, and it's the how the people change over time, especially with the
yeah.
cash amount building and everything like that. And I thought season one was very good. Somewhat like I don't know if predictable is the right word, but it was yeah, there is an element of like, okay, I can see who's going to live, who's going to survive, blah 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 towards the end,
Yes, yeah.
but not in a bad way. It's like really kind of like formulaic in a satisfying way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You know, well, that guy's he's going to be the prick. He's going to be the villain, I suppose. The guy with the snake tattoo. You know, he's going to
Yeah,
be the
yeah,
big
yeah. He's
prick.
gonna be the antagonist. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so he's going to get his comeuppance later. But it's still really satisfying watching it all unfold and everything like that.
Yes, yeah.
And then there was obviously points when you really like a character, and then
And you're
they're
rooting for
ta-
him or whatever.
and then they're
That's when
taken
you
out of you.
realize that you, as the audience, are the VIPs.
Yeah.
God. Okay, I suppose why don't we go season by season
Mm,
and just again, spoiler warning, guys, if you're listening or watching, and you haven't watched Squid Game, we are going to be talking about it with spoilers. So that's your final warning. But yeah, so season one, as you've alluded to, like you're looking at all the different characters. There's certain kind of archetypes as well of going, well, that person's going to be that person's going to be that person. But there is that thing as well of watching how the games change people, which
mm,
becomes a theme in the later seasons, which we'll talk about as well. Like, because Gihun then can start, because he makes it through the whole way. When
mm,
he's back in it, like he's like, you don't know how much these games can change people. He's
mm,
warning other people about how bad this is going to get.
mm,
Um, but I think, like, so obviously, like, with the premise of the show being that everyone who's selected to play these games, and they're all given the choice to come, but they don't
Yeah.
really know what they're signing up for is the problem. So they're given the illusion of choice is the
Mm.
thing. They are being manipulated into the situation, and then they're always told that they can leave if they want. But before you leave, just have a look at this. Like they're always manipulated with a like so they're given the illusion of choice at all times, but the front man, the VIPs, all the people who are behind the scenes kind of know how to keep them going.
Yes.
They always can, you know, wave that little carrot on a stick basically to go, one more, try one more, go on. Like it's very sadistic, the whole thing, even though
Yes.
they present it as we're trying to be fair and we're giving you all a fair chance and to make the rules, the games as fair as possible. We don't disclose the games and all this stuff. Um, so yeah, all the characters are obviously people who are like in serious debt, really, really desperate for money. And like I find it interesting that some of the premise of the show is like, oh, look what greed will do to people. And it's like, well,
Mm.
no, because the greedy people are the people who make the game. They have so much money they don't know what to do with it that they're like, well, let's just have fun watching people die and
Mm.
bet on them. Like so they're the greedy people. The people in the games, it's more what will desperation drive people to do.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like most of those, and yeah, I mean, yeah, there's an element of greed in there too, sure. But most of those people, like when you go, oh, if you split that much money between us, oh, it's not enough. And it's like, that's because when they come out, it's to pay off a debt. It's actually not to have that money. They're not actually going to like live a rich
Yeah,
life
yeah, they're just paying off their debt and like
and maybe
uh
open a shop now or, you know, things like that. Like that's
yeah, I think
their
even with
goals and
some of
stuff.
them, especially I don't want to jump too ahead, but even like within season two, you know that some like with some of them, it's like that money will only pay off the debt. And no, it
Yeah,
might even pay off the
that's what I
whole debt.
say. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So then they have to kind of
So
keep
they're
going.
driven purely by desperation.
Yeah, and we do see with in episode one with Gihan that like he's got loan sharks after him who will kill him if he
Yes.
doesn't pay it off. So yeah, of course he has
So
to
and
say
he's
that, and
just one example out of the hundreds of people that are there.
which we can imagine that everyone is actually the I can't remember his name, but the guy with the snake tattoo.
Mm.
He's got guy like his boss. I think he robbed from his. He's part of like a crime group. I think he robbed from his boss. Some people from like Indonesia or something like that are like wanting to hunt him down and chop him up. So he's also desperate to get that money to try start a new
Yes.
life. But everyone is the same. Everyone is desperate for money to try better their lives,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
which is
like it creates that there's tension the whole way through then.
mm,
And the show is very good at building tension. But for me, like it's like the games are obviously, you know, you get the um like it's very once they're playing red light, green light, you realize how this is gonna work. It's children's games, but with a evil twist of if you fail it, you will be killed.
mm,
But I think for me, the game changer in season one, at the moment where I went, oh shit, this is where it's gonna get more battle royale, is when one person dies in like the in their common room,
mm.
and the figure goes down and money goes into the thing,
Yeah.
and they all see it, and they now realize, oh, it doesn't just have to be during the games. And that's when it's like, oh fuck, this is when it's gonna get bad. They're gonna start like really like, and that's when they start turning against each other. Like there's the, you know, the secret game where the lights go out and
Mm.
they can go and kill each other at night. Like, and now suddenly no one wants to sleep. Really, they want to keep their eyes awake, and now everyone's like exhausted all the time while playing these stressful games and turning against each other, and like it just like turns them into horrible monsters basically against each other.
Yeah. I did think though when I was watching this game, I was like, they like the VIPs who are in season one, they come in
Yeah.
like the last two or three episodes. Definitely for the last two games, the VIPs come, right? And they obviously had this whole, they came up with this idea. Like the level of sadisticness and psychoticness to their thinking is that they actually could have done the whole same thing. They could have done the whole game and just went, oh, you're out. You can leave. You're not in the game anymore.
Yes.
And kill them behind closed doors if they really wanted to kill somebody, right? But it's the fact that they're like, no, we want to see the fear. We
Yes.
want to see.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, Jesus, like I was like, you guys could have made this so much easier on yourselves.
Yeah. 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 It's like purely sadistic. Like.
Yeah. Cause like those the guys in the masks, like they have to clean up those bodies and all that blood every time.
Yes.
That's gotta be a pain in the arse.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. The PlayStation guys.
PlayStation guys, yeah. Well, they were missing the X.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, it's actually they're the shape of the Squid Game, aren't they?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which honestly, when I saw that, I was like, what kind of fucked up squids do you have? I was like anything like a squid.
Just looks like a bunch of PlayStation symbols.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, no, the first scene, especially at that point when someone died, yeah, and then all the arseholes of season one decided to start fucking stabbing everybody. And did we get did a named character die at that point, or did they all survive?
I'm trying to remember. It's been a little while now since I've seen season one.
And I've
You've
yeah,
just watched it, so
I
I
watched
can't
all.
remember.
I don't think so. I think they
No, I
tried
think it's
to.
just someone.
Oh, I think it's a
Like,
bunch of kind of random people die. I think they
yeah,
tried to allude to the old man dying, but he somehow got on top of the bed and
yeah, and that you know what? That's another thing where it's like there's obviously there is twists and turns in Squid Game, right?
Mm.
Um, I found like the story twists were never really surprising. You know what I mean? You get to the point where you're like, oh, it's the old man. He's the bad guy. Like he's got to be. Um, but because they didn't show him die, right? And there has to be a reason for that.
Mm.
But it's not like when you find it. It's not like oh god, there we go. See, told you, stupid. It's actually like
Yes.
a oh no, I'm glad it's him and that they get to have this final conversation and because I want to know why are you doing this and why were you part of this and you know um but I think the twists that do work is when you realize how a game is going to work.
Mm.
And that moment is very powerful when I think, like, you know, because they play like the first couple of games just as individuals on their own. Um, and they don't know how to, and like they get through it or whatever. And then they're told to get into teams, but they don't know what the actual game is. And then they're told it's tug of war.
Mm.
And then they're told to get into pairs. And they're like, oh, great. So they're playing as pairs together.
Yeah,
So
and
you
then
know they
against each
get
other.
with their friends, like which now we've spent a couple of episodes getting to know these characters and building the relationships, and now it's like whoever wins the marbles off your opponent will win.
Mm.
Now they're all looking at each other, being like, "Fuck! Like, what have we just done?" Like
Yeah, because I think
that was such a fucking amazing episode.
in that episode, I think a husband and a wife paired
Yeah,
up,
and you
and
could
they had
just
to go.
they just look at each other, and you don't even get to see their game. You
No,
just see, I think it's the husband comes back,
the husband comes back and he
and you're just like,
hangs.
"What happened there?" Like,
He hung himself then afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah, which is like fuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think the marbles episode is expertly done because each of the interactions are like incredibly powerful drama and the tension is really high.
mm,
And in most of them, you're like, I don't know who I want to win here
mm.
because like I like all these characters and I kind of you kind of know with like the asshole or whatever. You're like, I kind of hope he fucking loses here, and then even the way that works and how he happens to win that is
Yeah,
it's like nail biting. But like even like Gihun then taking advantage of the old man's forgetfulness
mm.
to survive, but feeling terrible doing it is like, oh, it's so good.
That and I think I had the Sangwoo and Anji twist.
Yes.
I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I've seen that, but still seeing that play out because I didn't I knew that at one point one of the characters ends up with a bag of stones rather than marbles at the end of that episode.
Right.
I couldn't remember specifically who it was until the game started. I went, oh yeah, it's him. But seeing their relationship build and then
Mm,
becoming friends
yes.
and then seeing that moment was like, oh, Sangwoo, you fucking asshole.
Especially when Angie had won.
Yeah,
And then because he's maybe too nice or too trusting,
yeah.
he he gave them up and he got himself killed. Like, I did the two women as well. And there's
Yeah.
the one who just drops it and lets her win and goes,
Yeah.
well, you have more of a reason to get out of here than I do. Like, I have nothing.
Mm.
So, like, I just thought it was such a powerful and a like emotionally distraught episode where like afterwards everyone comes out deflated. And it's like
Mm.
that wasn't even exciting. That was just heartbreaking the whole way through. Like
Yeah, and then you have
it
that,
didn't have that kind of like oh shit, who's gonna make it kind of vibe. It just
and
yeah.
then to just to put the shit cherry on top of that shit cake, that woman was still alive. Fuck me, she was Coraline.
Oh yes, the odd number one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and you're like, what's perfect about that though is it's like, oh shit, had we not paired up with like we could have saved one of our friends.
yeah. Mm.
Had we? They all thought, oh well, whoever gets left behind is dead. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was actually like really really good, and I think that was probably intended by the like they probably intended for the old man because they probably thought, oh, no one's gonna pair up with the old man. That's our way of keeping number one alive.
Yeah, yeah.
But then Gihon did partner up with him, so and he couldn't really blow his cover and say, no, no, don't pick me. You know, they became what was the term again?
Oh,
Ganbia or something like that, is it?
Gambi is something like that, because I think that's the name of the episode. Gambi.
Yes, yes. And then when he turns to him, it's like, you think I don't realize what you've been doing?
Mm.
And you're just like, oh my god, this is terrible. But yeah, so good, so good. Obviously we've mentioned the VIPs that come into it. It's a very they're I don't know why they're done the way they're done. I
Are
don't think
they
it's
dubbed?
that. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think like I'm trying to bear in mind that it is. I take it you watched it subtitled, not dubbed, yeah?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, same as myself because I just think the dubs are awful. The actors are too good to have these weird voices thrown over them.
Mm.
The subtitles is a much better way to watch it, I think. But when I bear that in mind, then it's made for a Korean audience. It's just happened to have hit with the rest of the world. And
Mm.
I'm just wondering if like the English speaking, like if it's been redubbed to be much louder, much slower, very simplistic words because it's a different language. Obviously then the subtitles would be underneath too, but it's like it's been written as well by people who English is not their first language. But it's to me it's unfortunate that it it comes across as really cringy
Mm.
every time they're talking. And a little bit cheesy, and it just it stands out because the acting elsewhere and the way it's done everywhere else is immaculate. That
Yes.
they stand out like a sore thumb.
They do, because I did look up like what was kind of everyone else's opinion of the show, and that was one of the points of like everyone loves the show, it's amazing, but one of the
Yeah,
I think it
nobody
was
likes the
two,
VIPs.
two or three. Yeah, it was VIPs kind of were just this kind of yeah sore thumb as you say, which they are. They're a bit. Now I will actually say one thing, because in this season I think we do find out why the Squid Games are happening. Right,
Yeah,
Gi-hun does visit the old man in his own private little apartment where he's plugged up to a machine because the old man, number one, was he was the one who came up with the idea.
for his friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, just him and his friends wanting to have fun because they're really bored with all their money.
Yes.
And I was a little bit like, okay, that is very simplistically sadistic. That makes them so not human.
Yeah, they're like James Bond villains. Like they're
Yeah.
just yeah.
I kind of would have preferred, because in season one, we have that subplot where there's a couple of people and they get the doctor.
Yes, and they're doing the organ donations or the
I
yeah.
kind of think that would have been a better plot.
That this is all about harvesting organs.
Yeah, so you're luring people in of their own free will. They're signing their name away. They're
Yes.
signing their body away if anything happens. So technically, it's all legal. They have a motivation to stay because it's money. But every time they die, that's organs. Like the amount of money they'll be able to sell from the amount of people that they get, that it would actually would fund that amount of money in the whole operation. I kind of thought that that would make just a slightly better
More
explanation.
compelling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just think,
Well,
but
I
anyway.
did like the but I'm a sucker for these kind of things. I did like the old man. Yes, he said that games are invented for his friends. They're bored. They wanted to bet on people, find
Mm,
new ways of spending their money. Um, but he also had that thing at the end about the homeless person outside,
Mm.
and his point about how people are awful. That's his. So there's that human nature debate thing as well, where he's like, if you put enough people in a situation, like the Joker in the Dark Knight kind of a thing. It's like
Right.
people will show you who they really are when you put them in these awful situations. I think there's an element where he was like, and we see later the front man also believes that.
Mm.
That you still have faith in humanity. Like humans fucking suck. But then Gihon is like maybe he's a better person. He actually believes there is some good in people, and he's like he sees that someone does come and help the homeless person,
Mm.
and the old man doesn't like acknowledge it just before he dies or something like that.
I think he actually died before your man even arrived. I don't think he.
Okay, so he died
But that's what
believing,
I think anyway.
but he
Right.
died believing that
Yeah.
yeah, people are awful, and
Mm.
Gihon's like, no, I've seen that people will help people. And that obviously carries through. So I think like yes, they're just kind of rich people doing whatever, but I think there's also an element of trying to prove a point nearly about humans. It's like I have this much
Mm.
money and I want to prove how shitty human beings are. You know?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think that's the old man's point of view. I don't know if the rest of
Yes.
the
No, I
VIPs are the
don't
same.
know. The rest of the VIPs, absolutely not. But I actually don't think their motive matters even. I don't think they matter as characters at all. They're just kind of it's like what really matters is the characters on the ground in the
Yeah.
games. The people watching are literally just facilitators to create the situation, really.
Mm.
Um, I think as well the final confrontation in season one between Gihun and Sangwoo is like in the rain and everything is just like a perfect like it's so good, and they're playing Squid Game, which is how the show started.
Yeah.
But it's way more dramatic because of the knife, and it's way more dramatic because of all that they've been through. What Sangwoo did to is it Sebok? Is that her name?
Oh yeah, he killed her.
Yeah, she was a great, and she asked Gi Hun not to kill him,
Mm.
and had he done so, she might still be alive. And
Yeah,
those
because
are
he
the
wasn't willing to kill Sang Woo even, so he probably wouldn't have killed her. So
yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was a really powerful, and I like the way even at the end, then Gi Hun does not. He actually doesn't kill Sangwoo.
no.
He tries to save them both because
Mm-hmm.
it's his friend, and he's like, well, let's just both get out of here then. I love that Sangwoo for whatever reason in that moment. Is it that he's like the money, half the money is wouldn't be enough? I need someone with all the money to get out of here.
I thought it
So,
was that if they left, they don't get any of the money in that one in the first game.
oh, if you forfeit,
I think it was. I think it's a forfeit. So I suppose for Sang Woo, he's thinking we got this far. One of us might as well get the money. Your mom has diabetes. She's gonna lose her fucking feet. You're in debt.
yeah, my mother is struggling, and I'm ashamed of everything I've done here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to prison as well.
Yeah,
That's the thing about him. Like it was Sang Woo was up for financial fraud and everything like that. He
yes,
scammed a bunch of people, so he was going to go to jail. So I think that was another reason for him to go.
yes, yeah. It's cool. Like it's not cool. It's just it's a powerful ending because
Mm,
they don't make Gi Hun the bad guy then of he or the action hero who kills the fallen friend kind of thing.
mm,
But they still find a way of it all ends and he gets the money and all. And I like that they do the whole old man twist thing and they kind of wrap it up. You understand why the games exist, how long they've been going on, blah 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 blah.
mm.
If they never made a season two,
Yeah, that's fair enough.
you would still have the story. But there's enough there that you could do a season two. There you
Mm.
could go
Well,
further.
it ends with Gi-hun and his terrible hairstyle.
Yes, yeah.
About to get on the plane to go see his daughter because he's divorced, and the daughter and the mom and her new husband or whatever gone off to Los Angeles. He's about to get on, and then he gets the phone call, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So he decides that nope, he's going to go back and he's going to stop the games because he sees your man doing the Daichi
Yes.
game.
Yes.
Guy, guy's a fucker.
Ah, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about him.
And then that's where season one ends. So it ends in such a way where actually it is just setting up season two. Now they could have had it that he got on the plane and left, and that was it. And we know that the games are going to continue, but he got out scarred, but he has the money and he's going to go see his daughter and stuff. They could have ended, but they ended in such a way where yes, there's obviously going to be a season two.
Yes. And is there anything else on season one before we move on to season two? Um, No, I don't think so. Let's jump into season 2 then. And you
Hmm.
mentioned that guy who plays the game, the recruiter.
Yeah.
I loved because I was kind of like, how are they going to do like season 2? Like, like if you launch straight into the games again, it's like, how did he get back there? All that,
Hmm.
and obviously you kind of can't not do the games because it's a huge appeal to the audience, but also if you're going to try stop the games, you kind of have to have them going on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think having them the first like episode all about and the start of season 2 all about hunting down the recruiter,
Hmm.
who is an excellent actor. He gets to really shine in season 2.
Yeah.
Um, and that rock paper scissors -1 game I thought was so intense. And again, they find such clever ways of having like little choices in a game that mean bigger things than just simply playing the game. The moment where is it his boss has the same two things? No, he has the same two things.
Yeah, and his boss has to just
His
take away.
but one of them will mean he lives and one of them will mean he dies. So the boss actually has to choose who lives and who dies in that moment.
Yeah.
I was like, that is fantastic. Like it's so well done. And because it's like, just symbols, it's really easy to see what it means, but it has huge implications. Like
Hmm.
you would think he would be the kind of person that would leave his
Yeah, because that is the loan shark from season one who was wanting
yeah,
to cut up Gihan, and then at that point he decides because it's the lackey, I suppose. He has the two rocks and he has
yeah.
to take one away. The boss has paper and scissors, so the boss knows all he has to do is take away scissors, and he will win. And he doesn't take away any. He actually sacrifices himself so that your man lives. But fuck me, that guy's a dick. The Daichi recruiter chap. Oh, he's
Yes,
psychotic.
he is. And he used to be one of the soldiers, isn't that right? On the island. That was his job.
I'm assuming so.
Because that was sort of the story he told. Like he used to burn the bodies and stuff, and
Hmm.
and he shot his own father. Isn't that
I don't
right?
remember any of
He
this.
tells a story, I think, where his father ended up in the games,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
and he shot him. And what he realized when he did that was, I'm good at this. So yeah, he is definitely psychotic.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. One thing I didn't like about the Russian roulette game
Okay.
between him and Gihon is I quite like when the game seems like how the fuck is he going to get out of this one? And then he thinks on his feet and finds a clever way to get out of it. Do you know?
Hmm.
Or it's through the help of someone else or whatever. Like even like in the first one with he has the umbrella and he's like, I'm never gonna get this out.
Oh yeah, that
And he
game.
starts
Yeah.
to he starts to lick it and loosen it up that way, Like he finds little ways and thinks outside the box sometimes to survive. And I just found out the Rush Roulette, like it literally was pure chance that he survived that. He did not. Now I
Yeah.
do like that he had your man called him out and said, "I know what you're thinking right now. You've got the gun, you've got two bullets. You could just shoot me or you've
Yeah.
like just two shots." And I was like, because I was thinking that. I was going, "Why didn't he
Yes.
just do that?" I was like, I'm glad that they acknowledged that he could do that, and then he didn't, which subverted my expectations.
Hmm.
But ultimately, he only survived by pure chance. He could have died there and then.
He could have died. Yeah, which would have ruined his entire
Yeah,
shindig.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. How did you feel about the Russian roulette game?
I would have just pulled the trigger twice because the Daichi, the recruiter chap, no matter what he was thinking, wouldn't matter to me because he's psychotic,
Yeah,
and
and
I don't
ultimately,
give a f
I want to find the island. I'm not
Yeah,
interested in what
ultimately,
this guy
yeah,
thinks.
yeah. I didn't think for me personally what your man thought would matter that much if my
Yeah,
goal is wanting him dead and I live. So
yeah, yes,
I would have just went bang bang for
yeah,
sure, or pistol whipped him.
yeah. To tie him up and ask for more
Yeah, yeah.
information. Yeah,
Although I don't know if he would be the type of chap that would talk, I'd say he'd enjoy the pain.
yeah. He's an awful, awful bastard, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great actor though. I thought he did an amazing job. Like
Out of all the
he made you hate him. Like
Yes, yeah, yeah, for sure. All the Korean actors are just phenomenal.
phenomenal.
I
Yeah,
I actually, interesting enough, with this season, I kind of was way more invested in this group of people than the first one.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. The players this time around.
The players in season two,
Yes.
because there was so many that were like, oh, I kind of I kind of want them to win. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how they're gonna win,
Yeah.
or I kind of want to get them out, or I'm hoping that there's a redemption arc here. And then there was others that were just and I think it was the voting system really helped to
Yes. Yeah.
create this thing that was just like, I really fucking hate that old guy. I want someone to just slap him or something.
Yes.
Because with the season one, you had the obvious antagonist player
Yeah.
and the crazy woman, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And then every other character you knew were fine, pretty much, except for Sangwoo, who just he
But
was
he was the one that slowly
he slowly
becomes.
descended and then yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the watching as everyone more and more people kept voting to stay in, and every time Gihan tried to convince him that the old guy would talk, and I'm like, oh my god, stop. Just get him to stop talking. And then
Yeah.
other people go, oh Jesus. I think that's where my stress really just kicked in and I started to sweat so much because I'm like, just shut him up. Just shut all them up and just fucking leave the game.
Yeah, yeah, because you're like, I want to save that old lady, I want to save that
Yes.
pregnant lady, I want to save the cool trans character, like I want to save
Yeah.
all these people,
There's
and
so many nice characters. I was like, I really
I want them
want
to come
all.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God, that.
Part of me, and actually, we didn't mention this in season one, but there's the side story of the detective
Oh yeah, yeah.
who's investigating this stuff, ends up on the island undercover, blah blah blah. The front man is his
I thought that
brother.
was cool. I thought that was cool actually.
It's a
I like
cool
that.
side story. It's cool that then in the second season, it's him and Gi-hun team up, and
Mm.
he's leading the second team looking for the island. Part of me wonders, is the show strengthened, or is season two strengthened by Gi-hun being back in the games, or should he only be with the team looking for the island? And should we be following a new character in the Squid Games so that
Well,
we don't? Because I did feel like I was like, well, Gi-hun's safe because he's the main character at this point.
right. Yes.
Whereas if it was new characters altogether, you just don't know who's safe then.
Well, actually, honestly, they could have done a thing where the fortunately I can't remember his name, but actually, if the lackey guy, in the rapper says,
Oh
if
yeah.
he had been put in. Because he's aware that the games are dangerous, but he still doesn't know. So we're still invested in him because he's,
Yes. Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe, but actually, I didn't mind Gi-hun because I think I was in the same pressure as him
Yes.
because he knew.
So that's what I was going to say. I was like, on paper, I think I would have done it differently. Like I would have had.
Right.
He's the whole season is about him and one team looking for the island while we're watching the people who are now being subjected to the games and running out
Mm,
of time to get to them to save them. Basically,
mm.
right? On paper, I think that's what I would have done. But I think in execution, they did a really good job of putting Gihun in there and just feeling that stress of, will you please stop? Because we know, because we've seen season one, we know how this ends.
Yeah.
None of you are going to get out of here.
No.
Will you please listen to the man? And then they do the whole, well, how do you know all this stuff? I was like, maybe you're just a plant. Maybe you're here to fuck with us. Like, but hold on, if you made it before, that means we can make it. You actually give us hope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can teach us how to play the game, And then he has that horrible dream where they're about to play the one with the
The
honeycomb things
yeah.
again, and now all the triangles are fucking crazy. And at first, I thought that was real
I
until it
same. Yeah.
dawned on me it was dreaming. I was like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah. I did think to myself like, did they? Is it that they now know, so they're gonna make every game as awkward as possible? But
But
I
they
did kind
actually
of.
put new games in, which I think was
Yeah.
a really good decision.
Well, I did kind of figure, well, they're going to put new games in because they're not going to allow Gihun to tell everyone what to do. I do think Gihun probably should have known that and should have been able to put two and two together and go, look, the second game I played was the Honeycomb game, but there is a probability that we're going to get a different game. Either way, if you lose the game, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do think Gihun definitely wasn't being as tactically smart as he could have been at some points in season two with
Yes.
trying to convince people to leave.
Yes.
He could have done a better job. But then again, people's desperation, I suppose, was just really always going to take over. Oh, Jesus Christ! Even that Thanos character.
What do you think of him?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Where it's a little weird. He keeps speaking English sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
but I actually like.
He drove me mad, right? And
Yeah.
then I watched an interview with the actor, and it kind of changed my opinion on him a little bit. I was like, oh, actually, okay, I could see now. Like, so the sometimes speaking English and the little raps that he would do that were kind of cringy.
Hmm.
But the actual actor is a rapper,
Oh, yeah.
and he was like, well, this guy is in serious debt, so he needs to be a shit rapper. So I need to play him as someone really shit like. And I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like he said, he actually pronounced the English badly on purpose. Like he's really bad at it. Like he's just
Hmm.
not, because he's not successful. Because otherwise he wouldn't be in here. He was successful, but now he's not.
Hmm.
Like, and he's desperate. So, but I really liked. Well, I hated him, but I liked to hate him.
Yes.
His friend,
Yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
was like,
Oh,
he was way worse than Thanos. He was a
fuck.
little
It's
psychopath.
you. That's the thing about this. I think there's so much more characters in season two
Yeah.
that you're just like, you almost want them to get their comeuppance,
Yes.
which then probably puts you more on the mindset of like the front man,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
where you're kind of like, well, that's a bad person, that's a bad person, that's a bad person, that's a bad person, that. But then of course you have that point when you can be Gihan and go, but that's a nice person, that's a nice person, that's a. So I think
Yeah.
they did a very good job of division in season two.
Yeah, and it was so clear now that it was like, because in season one it was just, oh, if I kill anyone during the night, I'll win. But now it became very much, well, if the X's kill the O's,
Mm.
or sorry, if the O's kill the X's, which is what they wanted, then we'll get to continue the games.
And with
It
more money,
became
yeah.
very us and them. I also really thought at first when they brought in the vote system and now they were putting the vote on them, which I was like, oh, that's evil. I know what you're doing, you sick bastards. But I was like, oh, there's definitely going to be one of the games is definitely going to be X's and O's,
I actually thought the same. Yeah,
and
yeah,
you haven't known it, but you've been picking your team basically
yeah.
the whole way along. Um, yeah, I thought like the most thrilling of the games in season two was the mingle one, the where they're on the
Yeah.
carousel and then it stops and you have to pick a number and run into the rooms. I thought that was another one where very quick decisions were made
Hmm.
that were very thrilling and very like, oh shit, I can't believe he just did that. Whether it's like, you know, grabbing someone, pulling him into a room, and then just locking it
Hmm.
before time runs out. Like the MG Coin character, I can never remember his name, but he's number 333.
Yeah. I think it
Um,
was Jun Hee, I
like
think.
you know, he's very hated by a lot of people in that
Yeah.
room, and he keeps making decisions. And the whole way through, I was finding it really hard to know, should I trust him or not?
I
Because
thought I
he'd often stick up. He'd often like there was a time where yeah he went into the room with the guys and one of the girls died, do you know,
Hmm.
um, and they were blaming him and he said, "Are you fucking serious? Like I just saved all your lives. She would
Hmm.
not have made it in time, and you would all be dead."
Yeah.
And it's like he's not wrong. Like
No, I
in that
kind of
moment, he's not
thought
wrong.
like, especially at the start, he was like, okay, I felt like actually with his character,
Mm,
he was going to be like the opposite of Sang Woo.
right.
Starts off a prick, becomes nice. Well, Sang Woo was nice, and it became a prick. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. That's the way I
Yeah.
kind of thought Jun, especially because he was getting picked on by a lot of people. There was the woman who was pregnant with his child that was in the game, and I thought like they were going to like mingle and get to know each other and stuff like that. Now, obviously, we know how that all turns out in season three, but
Yes.
I really kind of liked where they were possibly going to go with him and stuff like that, and the constant animosity building up between him and Thanos, really more so than um yeah. So you know at some point, well, they're going to have a confrontation.
Yes.
They were really sowing the seeds quite well, I think, in season two
Yeah.
for the way the characters are going to go. You have the old woman and her son. You know, at some point that's not going to turn out well.
Yes. Of
You know
course.
what I
You're
mean?
like this is a disaster waiting to
Yeah, yeah,
happen.
yeah. So you can see that thread going. You're just then waiting for that ticking time bomb. the woman being pregnant. You're like, well, at
She's
some
definitely
point,
going to give
give
birth
birth.
during a game. This is
Yeah,
going to
and
be terrible.
yeah. And so that ticking time bomb, I love that. Number one again was a plant, was
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, and you're like, okay, well, this is obviously at some point this is ticking time bomb, not going to work. So I
Yes.
think they really planned it quite
Why do you
well.
think he planted himself this time around?
I'm
I'm not actually sure on that because, and I
well, I
thought
wasn't.
maybe the answer would come in season three, but it didn't.
I'm not 100% sure why he's doing what he's doing.
No.
I don't think it
Yes.
fully explains ever, spoiler alert, but it doesn't actually explain why he's like, yeah, I want to continue this guy's work. These guys who put me through hell to
Yeah, because he
whatever.
played the game and he won it. I think this ultimately for me is the failing of season three,
Mm,
which has its high moments for sure in that character to character moment stuff. But in terms of being a final season, I think is underwhelming. I don't think it,
that's one of
unfortunately, yeah,
so along with the VIPs, yes, that's the general consensus as well, is that the last episode it has an unsatisfactory ending. This is where
yes.
so season two I think ends with
The big shootout, the rebellion. It's quite an
I
exciting, action-packed final episode,
yeah, I really liked it.
and then it ends, and they're kind of fucked. They're up
Yeah.
against it, and it ends in a to be continued. It didn't feel like a finale, but it felt like a cliffhanger. I think,
Mm,
as in just literally the last moment when it ended. It
right,
was like,
yeah.
oh, okay, well, I'll wait till the next one. It didn't leave you with something to be like thinking about, like, oh, I wonder what that meant or anything like that.
Mm,
So then obviously season three picks up, and they didn't kill Gihun. They're making
no.
him continue, but they strung up the rest of them.
Yeah.
You have number 11 out of the
Oh,
soldiers.
we forgot to mention
She's
her.
an
I
amazing character.
Amazing character. I really liked because when she's first introduced in season two, you're obviously thinking, well, for me personally, I was thinking, well, she's going to
Yes,
join the game.
that was a good subversion. Yeah.
And then they gave her the card, and I'm like, okay, she's going to join. And then, yeah, get in the truck, and I was like, oh, this is weird. You get in the trucks this time? Yeah, and then she gets dressed, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
So it's like,
It's
yeah, so they
very,
recruit the soldiers the same way.
yeah. I thought that was very cool. And then her wanting to protect the dad.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I thought that
And
was
going
very
to
cool.
those lengths. I thought so. Her arc, I thought, ended in a satisfying way. Not the very last thing she does, but in terms of like she gets to fight the evil captain, and she gets to
Yeah.
take down the organ people, and she gets to
She
save the
burns the
dad. You know what I
records,
mean?
and yeah.
So she actually had the most like finality
Hmm.
out of any of the little story arcs that were going on. Um, the first game that they play in season two,
Hide and seek.
hide and seek,
Season three.
season three, sorry, is obviously it's very thrilling. It's very high stakes. There's lots of again those moments because you have lots of key characters get killed
Mm.
here. Um, the
Like
pregnant
that
woman
gives
gives
birth.
birth. Like it's all very stressful, and because Gi-hun is on the side of you must kill to live, we're now like, oh god, he's gonna have to do it, but we don't want him to do it because he's our hero character, and it's going against him as a person. And I thought again, I was like, I hope he finds some clever way out of this, but he didn't. Um, I didn't like personally that they were given knives and literally told you must find the other people and kill them to win.
Hmm.
I like that in the other games, it's sort of like they just get there naturally because of the pressure of the situation. Like they're never told you need to straight up kill people. They always come to the conclusion. Like for example, in the Mingle game, they get in the room, they're running out of time, and number one and Gihun's friend are in the room, and there's another guy in there, and he won't get out, and they're running out of time. So number one kills him
Yeah.
because to win the game, there needs to be just two people in this room.
Yes.
I think that's where the games excel in that like the rules are very simple and what you do within that is on you kind of a thing. And I just think in the hide and seek, like if it had to be you have to find and take their key off them or something. But because they know they're going to be killed otherwise, they'll fight each other to stop them. Or I just thought the you must find them and you must kill them was very
Yeah, because like
whoa.
the closest one we had to that was the marbles in Tug of War, I think. Because Tug of War was obviously you're pulling them to your death. Actually, I really liked that one because that's season one. Because that's so horrible being
Yes.
pulled to your death. Like
Yes. Yeah.
um the marbles one, obviously you're throwing the marbles. If you win, you the other person dies. The bridge one
You know,
in
like
season one,
obviously
like it gets
they
to a point where
know
they
people
start
are
pushing
going
each
to.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what I mean. Though they know people are going to die, but they're never told you must kill people. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
did.
So
I didn't like that one because I felt it was a flaw against their whole point, where it was like, in here you have an equal opportunity.
yes,
Where the fuck is the in this game? There's no equal opportunity. They're given a knife. The others are not given anything.
yes,
When it comes to the keys, they all have different shaped keys. So now
yes,
even they're all not the same. Then when it comes to the exit, you need all three, so you don't have equal opportunity. So I was like, in that game, I was like, right, you've completely got the equal opportunity concept and chucked it out the window because
yeah,
it's not. So yeah, I didn't really like it on that front, on the rule side of it, but just on the character and the
yeah.
tension
The moment
building.
to moment stuff was
The whole
great.
giving birth, that witch lady was a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Especially,
yes, the whole time.
especially, well, not just in her. Obviously, she's a con artist, pretending that she's a shaman.
Yes,
But in the point when she gets trapped, like again, that old guy is a prick when he pushes her to the side to close the door, like,
yeah.
and she meets Sinmu, Minsu,
Minsu, yeah, Minsu, yeah.
He had a good arc as
He
well,
had a good
actually.
arc. Yeah, I felt bad for him.
And yeah, she started to like fucking berate him, and I was like, he's got a knife. What are you doing, you some bitch? But I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
also
yeah.
glad when she died.
Well, actually, the old guy that you really don't like, who was always like trying to push the games forward and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I like one thing I did like during the game was he very cleverly just rubbed blood on himself and lay down as a body.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, that's that kind of out of the box thinking that I want to see from these
Mm.
characters in terms of how the fuck do I get out of this situation, um, and try something and hope for the best. I would have liked to have seen some way for Gi Hun to get out of it without compromising his character, but unfortunately, there was just no way. When you're on that side, there's no way.
No, no, yeah,
He
you
had
had.
to be on the other side for him to keep his I will not be a murderer intact. Like obviously, yeah, he was shooting the soldiers and stuff, but that was because they're the people doing this to them. You
Mm.
know, he's trying to stop the games. But yeah, I suppose he in that moment was completely taken with grief and vengeance, and because of But I again, like it wasn't that guy's fault who went to get the magazines and then got scared.
No,
It wasn't all his fault. Like
no. Again, it would have made more sense for him to want to kill the old guy who kept pushing for the games to keep going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. The amount of people who like yeah
Actually, are
who would not
responsible.
let them leave. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I suppose he was completely taken with those feelings of grief and vengeance
Mm.
and all that stuff. But yeah, so that episode then does we lose some very key characters. The mother ends up killing her son.
Mm.
The trans character whose name I can never remember, but who is like one of the best characters in the show,
Those fight scenes with
were
her
fucking amazing.
they were so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so when she goes, it is also like, oh, no, you
yeah.
don't want to see it happen. Um, Especially when it's at that point where she's literally just defending the old woman and the pregnant woman, you
Mm.
know. Um, but yeah, this introduces a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, oh God, what the fuck are you gonna come up with now, you sick bastards?
Yeah, I honestly, I was like, look, that just was so totally no reason. There was no reason to go. How about we introduce the baby as a player? There was no reason for that.
Yes.
I think that almost like my at this point in the game,
Yeah.
there's been no victory.
Yes.
And so at this point, because even from season two onwards, right, the detective they're not finding the island. Everything is sabotaging. Everything is going against them.
Yeah, the
There's
boat
explosion.
captain is in on it.
The boat captain's in on it because, of course, they have to have like everyone is in on it. And when they find an island with a door, oh no, the door is booby trapped, so they get exploded. The guy finds out the information about the boat captain that he's in on it. So then, of course, the cops had to come and arrest him. Later, and so at this point, I was getting so annoyed with my stress
Yes, yeah, yeah.
that
It's
I
like
was just like,
I want a victory.
yeah, just leave the baby be. Just take the baby away and say you can have the baby back when you win. And if you don't, the baby goes up for adoption. There you go. There's your motivation to keep going.
Yes.
You can't get the baby back unless you win. I don't know. They could be that sadistically cruel, but at least the baby is safe. They did not need the baby in the fucking games. It's just like, come on. Because, like, it's not even the VIP's idea, it's the front man. And so, what's the front man's idea? Because he lost a child. What's his thinking?
I think his thinking is, but I agree with you. I do think it was a bit much
Hmm.
at
I
this
think
point.
it was just like,
I think
let's,
he's like I want Gihon to feel the same way I do, and that people suck. And when you see that they're now all willing to kill a baby, not just grown people, when you see that the rest of these people, now that the baby is involved, and they still want to keep going, you will finally agree with me that people are awful, that they will even kill a baby, an innocent baby. I think it's he's continuing that philosophy of like, yes, I'm showing this to the VIPs and all, there's all a big money making racket. But like for me and for my predecessor, who was like my mentor, I have a weird mannequin of him in my fucking private quarters for some
yeah, it was
reason.
very weird. Yeah.
For us, it is literally about I want to show how bad people are. I have an awful outlook on the world because I lost everything or whatever. Um, and I think he really wanted is like that moment where he tells Gihun to kill those people and end the games. I think he wanted him to. I don't think he was like he'll chicken out and then the games will continue and
Oh,
I'll
I
get what I
think
want.
I'm assuming he wanted Gihun to take over.
He
So
wants to. He wants to be like me and you are the same. Like I've been through all this already. I just
yeah.
want you to come to the realization that I came to.
Hmm.
Um, and he thinks that maybe including the baby will help with that. But yeah, it is a bit like, ah, come on, like don't even, don't even flirt with the idea of killing the baby. That's a horrible thing, you know.
Hmm.
Very uncomfortable. Obviously, you have the jump rope game, and that added tension as well. When the guy got to decide, started pushing them when they come over,
Oh yeah.
he was like, you know, Gihan was like, stop. I was like, well, why? I mean, if we do this, us three, me, you, and the baby, can get out of here now. Like after this, we could just vote, let's leave and take all the money. Great,
Hmm.
happy days, job done. Like Gihan's like, but I want the mother to get out. And you're looking at her, you're going, she has no hope. There's no way she can do this game.
I really hoped he did get her out. I really thought MG Coin, I think his name
Yes,
was John He. Again, at this point, I was like, right, this is his time to shine and have his redemption
and
moment.
save her. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he it doesn't, and then he really just doesn't. I don't think has a redemption in this, and I was like, oh,
No, because you
and
get
so
to the. Sorry, go on.
I feel that season three starts to let down what they set up in season two.
Yeah.
I think that they start to kind of do the whole up, we're subverting your expectation. And it's like, yeah, subvert expectation is fine in like season one, season two, and whatever amount of seasons you're doing. By the time you get to the end, just do what we're expecting because we're expecting that for a reason. That's satisfying to us. So I really, yeah. So I actually am not. I'm super happy with the Soldier 11, right? Just going
Yes.
back to her.
Yes.
Happy with the fight scene. Happy with the burning. I so thought, okay, she doesn't have a daughter.
She's going
Here's
to
a
raise the
baby
baby.
daughter. She's gonna get the baby
I would have loved that. I felt the same way. I was like, there's the connecting tissue. She's a mother and she's
without a
motivated, and there's the baby without a mother.
yeah, a mother without a child and a child without a mother. It's like
Uh,
there you go.
Perfect. Yes.
And
I
then they
agree. I
went
agree.
and then they gave the baby to the detective, and I was like, where was that connective tissue, as you said? I was like, where, what, like,
Yeah.
what other than just the front man not being so bad to kill the baby. Fucking fair play to him. The only bloody
Well, only because the baby won.
yeah. But like in fairness, they
You
could have
know?
dropped the baby on the street like they did with Gihan at the end of season one. Like they could have
Yeah.
done that if they wanted to be really fucking psychotic. Like, but I was just like, where's the? He could have raised the baby himself. He lost the baby and kept all the money.
Yeah. I think as well, I would have liked, and I know maybe, like, I get the power of Gihun sacrificing himself, after that really thrilling tension on the towers and how do you push people out? You need to almost get them on side. Of course, people are going to fight back. It's never going to work that you're all going to get away with just the three people, one person per tower kind of thing.
Mm.
But so while all the acting and all there was brilliant, and I understand Gihun's sacrifice is his way of proving to the front man, I am a good person. You did not break me, and I will throw my life down to save this baby. I would have liked that the detective got there in time, fucking killed all the VIPs. I would have been satisfied with that. He's killing the VIPs. Number 11 is down burning all the records. The island is getting fucking blown up to shit. It turns into like a James Bond shootout. He has a final showdown with his brother, and Gihun and the baby make it out. I maybe, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I love a hero sacrifice too, but I actually would have been more satisfied, I think, with we won. We went through hell to get here, but we won and we killed these bastards.
Yeah, I do. I do think it lacks. It does lack victory.
Yeah, it lacks a feeling of finality as well. It doesn't feel like it ended at all.
No,
in fact, most of the ending of Squid Game is setting up all of these other spin-off shows that Netflix are going to make. That's what it is. I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, because we know that there's an American one coming. That's what Kate Blanchett's Recruiter is doing. And that one's being directed by David Fincher. So good luck to us all. That's got to be
horrible.
That's got to be horrible, but probably very well done as well. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not that interested in all these spin-offs. And then when I bear that in mind, then I'm looking at, right, well, so the front man is still out there. So he's probably going to get a spin-off where it'll tell his backstory of the time he won the games. Then you see a number 11 going up. She's finally going to go meet her daughter, but we never actually see it happen. There's another spin-off show. Going to China, maybe. So it actually just ended with setting up the Squid Game cinematic universe, basically, is the way I looked at it, rather than actually finishing the story of Squid Game. And that, for me, was the underwhelming ending of Squid Game, which was otherwise, I think, a phenomenal show.
It was a very phenomenal show. Binge watched the whole thing. Super stressful. But yeah, I think the ending, I agree with you. I do think a shootout would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Gihun surviving, Gihun not surviving, I'm two ways about that. Yeah. I'm okay with either one. I'm okay with even if he had died. Soldier 11 gets the daughter, I think is a way better
100%.
thing. The detective could have delivered his credit card and stuff to the daughter in Los Angeles.
And if he had come down and handed it to her and said, your father was a brave man or something,
something like
that would have been very satisfying. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you have the final battle with the brother and, with Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero dies and
Sub-Zero.
It was the same actor.
It is.
And then...
No, it's not.
Is it not?
No. He does have a likeness of him, but no, he's not the same actor.
What have I seen him in before? I've definitely seen that actor before.
Yeah, he would be a famous actor. But no, it's not. Sorry, it's not Sub-Zero. It's not Sub-Zero.
Oh shit! Hold on a second. All right, we're doing this. We're doing IMDb.
Okay, if you want. I really want to wrap up the episode though because it's really long.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. So, geez, where did I leave? Where did I leave off? Yeah. So I think the shootout, blah blah blah, detective. Then cut to her and the parents driving in the alley, like driving down the streets of Los Angeles. They stop in traffic. Dunk. Daughter looks out, sees the weird game.
Doesn't understand it, yeah.
Doesn't understand it.
But we do.
We do. And then it's like, you had a victory, but this is so much bigger. And I think that would have been like...
I think that would have been perfect. That would have been way more satisfying.
Yeah, I think you get your satisfying hero, yeah, they won. Because you needed a win, because there was just no win for that whole season 2 to season 3. There was no win. You get your win, but then you get your horror ending where it's not actually over.
Yes, it's like you may have ended it in Korea, but what you didn't realize was these have been going on in other places in the world.
Yeah.
and
What
we
a
understand it. But yeah, and then it's still setting up a spin-off, which you can now when it comes out
Mm.
you could watch it or not watch it. But this story is wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually blown away by the cameo that is Kate Blanchett. I was like, holy fuck, that's Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, apparently the American version that's going to come is going to have like a really really good cast. I think so. Like I did I see somewhere that Robert De Niro might be in it? Like that he might be one of the people not playing the games, I don't think, but one of the people, like maybe the old man kind of thing. Like
Oh,
he's
right. Okay.
you know, we'll have to see. Obviously, David Fincher is connected to be the director. He's a very
Good choice.
fitting. He's a good
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
he's a
choice.
very good choice for it. But guys, those are I think our thoughts on Squid Game. Still, I think an amazing show. I think
Mm.
season one is still the like one of the best seasons of television ever made. I think season two is also really strong, but season three, unfortunately for me, while it has very good, powerful moments and great moments of acting, it ultimately in the writing, I think, lets down the overall experience a little bit. It's a very underwhelming ending to what is otherwise an incredible show. Um, I think we both feel that way actually from talking about it.
Mm.
Like, I think you might have preferred season two to season one, even like because of the characters and stuff, by the sounds of it. But season
Uh,
three is definitely both of our least favorite.
yeah, I think season one is a lovely conclusion, but I think the voting system season two added so much more interest.
Yeah, lots of
Um,
tension.
but yeah, I think season one was phenomenal in just being kind of like Stranger Things season one. I don't want to go on too much longer, but like season one, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
like someone might prefer season four, but like season one is just with both of them so special because it introduces us and brings us into this world, and the acting and everything and writing was phenomenal. But yeah.
So now we want to hear what your favorite season of Squid Game is, and what did you think of the ending of the show? Are you satisfied with it? Obviously, like we said with season one as well, the VIPs are the cringiest thing ever, and they really, really take away from the last season as well. But maybe you feel differently. Maybe you love it. We want to hear all about it. If you're watching YouTube, make sure you jump down into the comments to share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this episode, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future episodes. And to those who listen on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take. Again, to give your take on Squid Game. And of course, Death Stranding 2 as well, if you've been playing it. Thank you so much for checking out this week's episode. We will be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.